7:02.
All right. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular governing board meeting of the Jefferson Elementary District, October 14, 2015 at 7:02 p.m. And can we get members present?
Marie Brizuela,
Here.
Manufo Liaina Anawai,
Here.
Rebecca Douglas,
Here.
Akil Ali.
Here. And we have members of, or students from Garden Village Elementary School to lead us in the pledge.
Look.
Good evening, board members, students, parents, and community members. Please stand to salute the flag. Please put your right hand over your heart and pledge.
Liberty and justice for all.
So boys and girls, you can have a seat for just a minute, and then we'll call you back up for the presentation.
So we should bring one of these till after the presentation. Are the students doing the presentation too? They're not?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
They're
we're
not?
just giving the certificates now.
Okay. In that case, we have some certificates to thank you for helping to lead us in the pledge. Thank you.
That's fine.
And Amy. Alana Image.
Sorry. Let me look at mine.
Ana Frias. And Vincent Francis.
Someone can say it right. Is it Avatal? Avatal Daily. And the next one is Samantha Grace Banise. Thank you.
Certificate for Therese. Therese, all right, great. And Alina.
Did we get everybody?
Thanks once again to the students from Garden Village. There's no presentations, so we will now review our board meeting guidelines.
They're going to do it over here, Garden Village.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just so you know. That's what we're saying.
All right.
I'm good.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second the motion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Special presentation from Garden Village School, community involvement. Garden Village Elementary School representatives will present on community involvement at its school.
Thank you. Good evening, governing board members
Evening.
and community members. I'm Carolyn Casey. I'm principal at Garden Village School, and I want to thank you for giving me this time to share about Garden Village School's community involvement. You've heard of many times, I'm sure, the LCAP, and that the Local Control Accountability Plan, called the LCAP, has goals within it, and one of them is to promote the district's successes, challenges, and initiatives, and to better engage and encourage broader community involvement in all JESD schools. One of the activities for this goal is to expand parent and community involvement in the district and school level through family nights, community events, communication, and to do this in multiple languages through various media. So this is one of my media. Actually, what's coming up for Garden Village School is has been there for a few years now. I'm only doing it in the second year because I'm only in my second year at Garden Village. But we have a wonderful community event in the fall. This year it's going to be Sunday, October 25th. And it's a collaboration or a partnering with the Broadmoor Property Owners Association. And we have a very nice relationship with them. And what we would kind of like to do this time is make sure everyone who hears about it might want to come, because it's very fun. We have games, we have prizes, a costume contest, music, and it's just a lot of fun for the kids. The other thing that is going to be partnering with the Broadmoor Property Owners Association is the Jefferson Council PTA, and that will be on the Saturday, October 24th. And as part of the PTA's support for the visual and performing arts, they do a Reflections Day. And they're going to provide the time, and the PTA will provide the means, the paint, the whatever it needs. And Broadmoor is going to host it again. So again, we're having another community event in our area. Mrs. Bruzuela, our governing board member, is very active and truly believes in the value of us having these collaborative events and community involvement. And she has some history here, so I asked her if she would speak a little bit to it.
Okay. Well, at first when she said speak of history, I was thinking of the history of the area, and then I'm thinking that would take forever. But, yeah, so, but I think board members, you received our magazine, and it just so happened I had a few moments yesterday. I never find a few moments, but I went through it, and it hit right on exactly what Ms. Casey's talking about. And so I wrote something out here, and I'll pass it out. And forgive me if it goes a little bit longer, but it's something important since it deals with something about the LCAP. I always want to say I. Okay, so what it is talking about a partnership between Broadmoor and Garden Village School PTA. So just to let you know, quoting out of the magazine, 2015, the Delegate Assembly for California School Boards Association met to discuss the notion of schools partnering with families and community-based organizations to align resources and expertise behind strengthening families and supporting student success. Is commonly known as the community schools, as Mrs. Dart always talks about. And it's supposed to be this new idea of a community school model. Well, we have a couple of schools already in California. In fact, Redwood City is one of them. And they claim that in the future it will be the status quo, that everyone will have a community school. But I look at it a little differently. I say that this concept is not new. It's been in place for a long time. It all started many years ago with PTA and the community members helping to support schools whenever they're approached. And we do have that. Businesses also donate their resources whenever they can. In the past, I won't name all the things, but I can remember when firefighters used to come to our schools just to read to the students. However, a real community school, the one we really want to achieve, is when students, teachers, administrators, parents, families, community leaders, civic groups all come together to form the spokes in a wheel that when it goes around in motion, there is success in our schools for all of our students. So the Broadmoor Property Owners Association, just to let you know, was established in 1949 when Stoneson Brothers purchased the acreage surrounded by many farms. They built 1,200 affordable single-family homes in the unincorporated area of Colma. The homes were built for the war veterans coming home from World War II. At that time, believe it or not, there was a shortage of affordable homes. Well, guess what? I think we have the same thing now, but it's for a different reason. Stoneson Brothers established the Broadmoor Property Owners Association to maintain the homes and not allow any of them to become a mini farm. So our CC&Rs say you can't have a horse, can't have a cow, and all those other silly things. Okay. Anyway, the yearly assessment fees for the homes at that time was $6 per year, payable $3 in January and $3 in July, because that was a lot of money in those days. But to date, the assessment fees are only $7 per year, because no one knew they could raise it years ago. Okay. So next year, the assessment fees will be increased to a whole $8 per year. But we have our own community center, and the money was saved from the dues from 1949 until 1964, when we built our own community center. And the hall can be rented out for events or parties. That money allows the association to keep up the facility and to hold other events in our community, as well as donate to local nonprofit organizations that help the whole community. Since Garden Village School and Ben Franklin Intermediate School are in Broadmoor Village, remember, Broadmoor Village, unincorporated Colma, not Daly City. So we do support those schools. We give scholarships to 2 graduating students at Ben Franklin, and we always support Garden Village PTA with their annual fundraiser and other things. In the past, we held house tours that helped PTA raise money, fashion shows. We invited students to participate in our activities. When we invite the students at the schools to participate, we do not only invite those that live in Broadmoor, we invite all the students. So we're inclusive and never hurt any student who might be living elsewhere. That's not down here, that's just my ad lib. So anyway, we have a newsletter delivered, if you guys want to pass this around. A newsletter is going to go out tomorrow, so you're the first ones to look at it. That's delivered to all the Broadmoor homes, advertising events within our school district as well as community events. And you will see that, actually, I brought the wrong one, darn it. Okay, so the one I wanted to show you, this is the latest one, but the one I wanted to show you is when we advertise, remember when we had Literacy Day and all those different, so we always put something in that has to do with education, supporting any of the schools throughout our district. So, and I just want to put a little tidbit in here. At one time, we had 3 members of the Jefferson Elementary School District Governing Board who all lived in Broadmoor. Okay. We hope that working together, we can grow and meet many expectations to build community schools throughout the involvement with Broadmoor property owners. So for a little advertisement to anybody else out there, look for some group that will sponsor you, that you will adopt your school so you can get the help that you need to become really a community school. And just for some of you that might not have been here, I wasn't here either in that capacity, but in 1949, when they were selling the homes, they had these little cards that somehow they either mailed or passed out to people in the supermarket or whatever, and it says Broadmoor Village, a restricted and planned community for war veterans. 1,200 homes presented by Stoneson Brothers, 6-room homes for $10,375. Price of the home. Minimum down payment, including closing costs, was only $425. Monthly payments on your loan, including taxes and insurance, approximately $68 a month. Then it goes on to say that a smaller house for 5 rooms is only $9,950, a little cheaper. And then if you got a corner lot, oh my God, you were in heaven, and you had to pay $10,375 for the home, and the closing cost and down payment was $825, so you had to have more money in your pocket. And the monthly payment, including tax and insurance, was approximately $66. I don't understand, it was only $1 more than getting the other cheaper house, but hey, that's the way they did it. So many of the homes, that people that bought them, have this posted in their garage. It's probably kind of all messed up. I made copies of an old one. And so I just wanted to say to you, it's a pleasure to help and work with the schools. They're wonderful people to deal with, and I think they're getting a real sense of community. And if we could just pass it on to everyone else, we will be community schools in no time at all. If some of you probably recall, if you grew up in San Francisco years ago, some of the schools, actually, you could have dental. You know, go in, you could see a dentist at the school. You could get the services that you needed. We hope that someday we can bring all of that together back so that we can help all students and not have somebody with someone who has a toothache and no insurance to cover them. So I'm not going to talk long. I did probably talk longer than I should have, but anyway.
Well,
And
thank you.
I want to tell you, I have to say what you told me. When I talked to Ms. Casey, I've known her for a long time because she's been at 2 of our other schools, and she said, I thought I died and went to heaven when she came to the community of Broadmoor. And thank you for sharing that, because that's how I feel living there. That's how I feel when we do activities for people. And so it's a pleasure having you as the principal at the school.
Thank you. But I'm just going to reiterate that we'd like to invite people to the Broadmoor Property Owners Association on October 24th for art,
Yes.
and then on October 25th for the Fall Festival. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Anybody want to say anything? It's the next one.
All right, communications, persons wishing to address the board. This portion of the agenda is available for individuals to comment on or address the board on any issue that is under the board's jurisdiction and not on the agenda. The board may not discuss or comment on any items in this section. The maximum time allowed for any speaker is usually 3 minutes. And the first speaker is Pamela Di Giovanni.
Good evening, honorable board members and President Ali, Superintendent Vidalis, administrators, teachers, and of course, our beloved Melinda Dart, who does it so well, everything she does. I just want to share some good news. Many of you already know that Governor Jerry Brown did sign SB 707, and it was sitting on his desk although 3 weeks. We were very happy to announce that it will now keep students safe by prohibiting concealed carry permit holders from bringing hidden loaded guns to California schools without schools' permission from the campus officials. And it's a little more detailed than that, but it's a step forward, and even in California, people could not believe that this was already on the table, where people were bringing concealed weapons to the campuses and that it was lawful at the time. So this is one step forward, and I thank all of you, and it will protect our teachers and our administrators and our beloved school board and our wonderful students. So thank you very much, and I'll keep you updated for the legislation.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Melinda Dart, AFT.
Good evening, Melinda Dart, AFT 3267. I did want to give the report that I went to a summit on affordable housing and transportation in San Mateo County. It was at Skyline College on September 25th. There were a lot of various people from the county there. So what I did find out is that the community colleges have actually built and do offer below market rate rentals to their staff for 7 years. And then in that time, supposedly, those staff people can then save enough money to buy property. I wonder if that's actually true, but it's a nice thought. And I just noticed the amount of attention now on this issue, which I think is really going to be important to us as we face a teacher shortage, and we try to both attract and retain quality teachers in our schools. So we might have to think outside the box on this issue and think of and be proactive about solutions. I also want to say that tomorrow I'm going to a conference called Achieve the Gap. Perhaps other people are going as well, and hope to come back with useful information. Also, tomorrow evening is our Embracing Cultural Diversity workshop at Westlake in the evening, and the community is welcome. It's from 5:30 to 8 p.m., and it sounds like we're going to have a great turnout for that. And in fact, one of our board members, Ms. Manufo Liainga Anuahi, is on the panel at that conference, so it's going to be a great event. And I want to remind the community to make sure to vote and mail in their ballots. This election is different in that it's mail only, and there's no stamp required, but everybody needs to make sure that they vote and get their ballot in the mail. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Administrator comments?
Good evening. So tomorrow night, I will be attending a family education night at Westlake Elementary School. It's co-sponsored by the school and AFT, and the focus of the event is embracing cultural diversity. It goes from 5:30 to 8 o'clock, so I'm going to be there. I believe one of my colleagues here is going to be there as well. And I recently met with a representative from Daly City Police Department, their traffic safety department. They recently received a pedestrian safety grant, and so he approached me to communicate with different schools about working with after-school programs, with families, also actually with the school day kids as well, to present safety information. And also, finally, we have the district-wide earthquake drill tomorrow. That's always shaky for everybody.
Very good.
The Great California Shakeout. So most schools across the state are participating in this from 9 o'clock to 9:30. You know, there's some simulated injuries and search and rescue just to be prepared. So that starts tomorrow at 9. So if you see everybody standing around for a half an hour, that's what we're doing. All right. Thank you.
Is that at all the schools, right?
So as Mr. Valenti said, I will be attending the Embracing Cultural Diversity tomorrow at Westlake. And also on Monday, this past Monday, we had our district-wide Institute Day for all certificate and classified staff, and it was a wide range of activities. Majority of staff, teaching staff, attended the math training, which was a keynote with Joe Bowler, who's a Stanford professor, focused on math fluency. And then we had our English language arts, talking about writer's workshop, and lots of different, science. Everyone was focused on their content area. And classified staff focused on restorative justice and positive behavior intervention support. Also, I just want to remind folks that our mid-year kindergarten class is starting up again this year. We're going to start on December 7th, and this is for students that turn 5 between December 2nd and February 2nd. And so if they want to register, pick up registration packets, it will be at George Washington School, but they can pick it up at the district office as well. So that enrollment is opening now. I'll pass.
So many of our families, I think we probably have like a little bit more than 80% of our families who have email addresses, received a reminder from me about the election coming up, that it's by mail and they should be sending their ballots in as soon as they complete it, and then information on what to do if they've missed if they've need another ballot, or they need to register to vote, because registration is still active until the end of the month, I believe. And I will try to do another one again 2 weeks before the election, and then the weekend right before the election, just so that folks have that opportunity to do so. And that one, I'll tell them what they need to do if they want to vote on election day, because they've misplaced their ballot and they can't find it and it got recycled. So I'll let them know how to do that.
Church said he'd go and deliver it.
Yeah, he said he would deliver it to the folks who are homebound and unable to walk. But I think so. I won't give them his number, but if they're listening to this, they know what to do. The city of Daly City is applying for another grant, a bike and pedestrian safety grant, and I will be writing a letter of support to for them, so that they can expand safe passageways, signed passageways for bicycles and pedestrians that are preferable to other passageways. And I too want to comment on the restorative justice training. I know that many of our classified staff participated with that on Monday. Yesterday, Tuesday, we had our counselors participate in another series of trainings on restorative justice. And just over the last couple of weeks, it just became clear to me how important it is that we instruct and model for our students what it's like to handle conflict face-to-face and person-to-person. And I think having more of our staff trained in these strategies will support more of our students to be able to do that. There are many models out there that don't subscribe to face-to-face conflict resolution, and I think the more we can get students acquainted with that, the better our futures will be for all of us. That's it.
So was the board member acknowledgements and commendations.
I don't really have anything except that, with regard to what to the Daly City grant on bike and pedestrian safety, I hope they will extend that to clearing and maintaining shoulders of existing roadways, since some of our biggest hazards are overgrown shoulders. Just a personal pet peeve.
I have a few things, and I will try to get through them and keep them in timely order. I think my first one is, of course, the reminder to vote on November 3rd. And if I'm correct, I think I read that the last day to register to vote was October 19th. I know that we heard last time that we could register up to the day, but
Yeah.
I actually saw on a mailer that it said October 19th. And I did actually put a call in to Church, Mr. Church, and asked to verify that, because I know that we had shared something before. So I thought it was important for us to get clarification on that date. And I think it's wonderful that we're all doing our due diligence, because we might not get a lot of people if they're not aware of this new all-mail ballot process. So I would continue to encourage the public and our families and all of our schools to make that push to remind folks, especially we don't need a stamp. You literally just have to drop it in the mailbox, and it's free. So I look forward to all of us diligently doing that on our social media or any other way that we can, because it's very, very important. I know I mentioned it before. I'm going to mention it again. November 1st is our deadline for the San Mateo County Commission on Status of Women deadline for our nomination process. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of great women who work here, who live here, and do a lot of amazing things. And this is a time we are able to recognize their efforts as a county. So I hope that you will consider nominating someone, and that deadline is approaching on November 1st. Also, November 12th, I sit on Daly City's Art and Culture Commission, and we met last night, and it was great to finalize the details. November 12th, we will have our Daly City photo contest here. It's a free event, and everyone is welcome. We will have food, and we will also have our orchestra from Woodrow Wilson participating in the program. So we were really, really excited about that, to recognize them, because everyone on the Arts and Culture Commission didn't even know they existed. So I thought that was important to expose them, and we actually will have a lot of artists that evening. And those meetings are the second Tuesday of every month, so we always encourage people to come and visit and learn more about what we're doing. November 17th at City College, the Ethnic Studies program, with the emphasis on Pacific Islander Studies, has received $150,000 in grant money, which they've waited for. I think a lot of our community colleges are finally seeing some monies that they've been waiting for a long time. So Camp Unity is based here in Daly City, and they have invited all of our Camp Unity students to come to their speaker series and for dinner, and they're providing transportation for all of the families and the members, which I think is great, because that's a lot of our Daly City students who will be participating and who have registered to be a part of that evening. And that is called the Talanoa Speaker Series, which has speakers from Tahiti and Vanuatu, and these are scholars, and one of them from Samoa, who is now employed by Genentech because of a lot of his great work. So that's very exciting for us to learn from these scholars that evening. And it is a free event, and it starts at 6 o'clock, and it's at City College. And I think my last thing is Fatima Colindres works for National Park Service, and I'm sure a lot of our teachers continue to get a lot of great ideas for field trips, but she provides free transportation for field trips to to the national park sites. I don't know how well our teachers know of her or in that program, but they provide transportation. On certain dates, they're able to provide lunch and/or snacks. So if you need more information on that, please let me know, because she really is trying to outreach to our schools. And it's all free. It's all free. So I love free. So, yeah. So I think that's it. Just really, really excited to continue to learn and serve. So thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have one more. I don't know if I should even bring this up, but I also kind of feel that I'd be remiss if I didn't. I did share with some fellow board members some of the postings that I did see on social media from the Daly City Parents Alliance, which some may or may not know of a situation that had occurred at Fernando. But the reason why I share it, because I think it's really important that people understand that we go on facts. A lot of people post things when they're emotional, and as a parent, I totally understand when I'm upset about something, I will convey things with a lot of emotion, which may be more emotional than factual. So I have been contacted by several parents, and I was disappointed to read a lot of things that I had seen on social media about what may or may have not occurred at Fernando Rivera. But I would like to encourage everyone to continue to tell people, let's inquire and get the facts. Let's get the facts and not continue to really, really blast someone who I think is just undeserving of the treatment that has been received on social media, because once it's posted, you can't get rid of it. And I have a huge family, and I know if I'm hurt, they'd be hurt too. So I can only imagine how she and her family feel. So I would like to encourage people that if you know somebody who's posting, advise them to get the facts. Get the facts, because I was disappointed to see a lot of things being communicated and they were not true. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so let's see, about the voting. There's been some things not going too smoothly, and I think that all of us need to keep in mind what is happening, because I think the Elections Division wants to know how satisfied we are or not about something, so it can be improved. Some people got their ballots and no pamphlet. Some people got the pamphlet and no ballot. Some households got half and half. And it's like, I don't know what's happening. I think it's a big change for them, and maybe what they're doing is taking it on too much or something. I don't know. But anyway, and then I noticed it. Has anyone gotten their ballots yet and opened up and noticed it? The envelope is so fragile that the part that says, do not take off the tab, only Elections Division can do it, meaning if it's not on correctly, they probably won't count the ballot, is practically off already through the mail system, getting into your mailbox. So that I want to discuss with them. I think they needed to spend a little bit more money on the thickness like they used to do when they sent out the ballots for the people that were registered for absentee ballots. So I was disappointed with that myself on that. So enough of that. I do remember when Mr. Church told us that you could, and I told people not to worry, you can sign up to vote up to the election day. And I couldn't understand, how can they do that? But, so they were obviously wrong, because we asked them several times, but I hope no one's disenfranchised because of that. Then to go back very quickly, I guess I said too much about Broadmoor and forgot to say something important, so I'm going to put a plug in because they're liable to get mad at me. I forgot to mention that the Broadmoor Police Department has bought a canopy and the whole thing, and they're going to go down there at the event, and they're going to make popcorn for all the kids for free. And I gave them a suggestion, and I think they're going to try to do it. They just have to get a hold of the equipment stuff, is they're going to fingerprint the kids, give it to the parents. Something they did years ago when my children were younger, and I thought it was really awesome. The parents can take that home, put it away. God forbid anything happens, your child is missing for any reason or something like that, you would have their fingerprints in case they found somebody, rather than not knowing, especially, God forbid, it should be someone that's passed away. But anyway, it's really important and I hope they're going to do it. So I don't want to say for sure. They're checking into it today, and they'll let me know. So they're very involved, and same with the fire department. They will come down with the trucks and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that we include that they're with us. About social media, there is this new thing out, I guess. It's called Nextdoor. And then you put in whatever city you're in or whatever neighborhood you're in. And it's getting totally out of hand when I see some of the comments. And you're right. They say comments when they don't know, when they've heard a rumor, and they pass it on. And as you know, anytime you tell one person something and they repeat it, the rumor gets bigger, bigger, and bigger. Before you know it, what was this turns out to be like this. I hope that people realize that those that sit down there and don't engage themselves into really finding out the truth of the facts are typing a story. And they're just sitting, and they're not facing anyone face to face. They're just doing it on the computer. And it's kind of sad. It really is. I think that social media is nice, and I know when we start talking about involving our schools and that, I say, I don't like to see that too much. I know it's helpful and it's really good for good things as long as people use it for the right reason. So I agree with you. I wish the message is to everybody, do not believe the stuff you're hearing or reading unless you see the facts. As we always say, you're innocent until proven guilty. So end of that discussion. I also want to make sure I put a real little plus about Madonna. As you all know, Madonna, okay, anyway, she may have not always been the best image you want your children to follow, but she has written several children's books, and they are amazing. And one of them that I bought, I got at the dollar store. I figured, what the heck, if I don't like it, I only paid $1 for it. And it's a story about a boy on a baseball team that everyone loved their coach. And one day, one boy saw him walking down the street. He stopped over where there was this little store. He picked up an apple, wiped it like that, started eating it, walked away, didn't pay for it. He goes back and tells a couple of the other boys, our coach stole an apple. And so they go, no, okay, come on tomorrow. So the next day they go, now more boys watch it. They go home and tell their parents. And those parents tell the neighbors. And before you know it, no one showed up to the next baseball practice. And so the coach said to the one boy, who was the bad boy or whatever, he said, where's everybody? Well, he says, you see, someone saw you take an apple, so they think you're a thief. So he explained that in the morning, he stops and pays for the apple. On the way home from school, he selects the one he wants. So he says, now you tell your friend to come meet me at the house. So he comes to the house and he explained it. He goes, I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it up? He said, I'll tell you what, bring a pillow and a pair of scissors. And so the boy says, well, okay. So the next day he comes back with a pillow and a pair of scissors. Goes to the top of the mountain. He says, now cut that pillow and shake the pillow out. And here's all the feathers flying. He says, now you go and pick up every feather and put it back in the pillowcase. He said, but I can't do that. It's flying all over the place. That's right. That's what the rumor was. Once you pass a rumor that you do not know is true, then you can never undo it. Thank you tonight for talking about it. That's a story that I take when I go to read to the students at school. I take that book with me now, and I read it. And then I ask the children to tell me what the story was about. And by golly, they get it. Why can't the adults get it? Okay, amen. Enough. Move on.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Correspondence?
No additional.
All right, and no additional comments?
None.
Superintendent? All right. All right, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
General functions E, annual board governance workshop. The board will discuss selecting a governance workshop meeting date on either Saturday, February 20th, 2016, with CSBA consultant Luann Rivera, or Saturday, January 16th, or January 30th, 2016, with a new CSBA facilitator. Discussion and action.
Yeah, so previously we'd selected March 19th, and I'd learned that there might be a conflict with that date. So I went back to Ms. Rivera. She did have a new date open up, which was Saturday, the 20th. But she also reached out to her colleague and got some additional dates that may work for us as well. So tonight I'd like for the board to discuss and look at your calendars if you can and choose another date that might work for us. And as soon as that is selected, I will reach out to the two candidates that we have for the open seat on the board and let them know to reserve that time so that we could plan a governance workshop on that day.
So it's either February 20th, January 16th, or January 30th. They're all Saturdays.
Right. I'd like to ask for either of the Januaries. I can't do the 20th in February.
All right.
I'm good with any of the dates.
So what's the two dates? January is the
January 16th or
16th or
30th.
February 16th. Either one is okay with me.
What about the 16th?
Sure, I'm happy with that.
All right. So January 16th?
January 16th?
Yes.
Okay, that is a 3-day weekend, so I don't know if any of you are thinking of being away that weekend.
Yeah,
Yep.
Well,
Mhm.
maybe the 30th then?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't actually have any plans, but you never know.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was 3 days.
But you feel-
Remember the 30th?
You're right.
The 30th?
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Good to have somebody who notices these things.
Yeah, I went back and I gave her every Saturday that was possible, even the 3-day weekend's one thing,
All
but,
right.
but I just wanted to make sure that we were aware. So,
So January 30th.
January 30th, so it is an action item, so if you guys would like to make a motion to schedule our governance workshop on that date, we will do so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we select the date of January 30th to attend the governance workshop for CSBA.
I will second that motion.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
I just put it into my calendar, so it's a good thing.
Item F, resolution commending Thomas A. Norris, retired trustee of Jefferson Union High School District. The administration recommends an appropriate resolution be prepared commending Thomas A. Norris for his dedicated service as a trustee of the governing board of the Jefferson Union High School District.
Yes, I have a copy here of a resolution. It wasn't prepared when we put it on the agenda, but it is now, for you to review. And he will be having a retirement dinner, I believe, at the end of this month. So some of you may be going to that, but that's where this would be presented to him.
I see he is an alumni of our district, as
Well,
well as the Jefferson Union High School District.
they left one thing out. Yeah, I think he was the first president of the student body at Ceremony High School.
Oh, really?
Would you like us to research that fact and include it?
I think there's
Okay.
plenty of accolades here. No, I just wanted to let you know that's what he was. Well, he is, he's always been a great kid, and he still is. So I call him a kid. But his mother actually worked in our district. And so he was always around.
Then I will make a motion that we approve the resolution commending Thomas Norris for his service as a trustee on the Jefferson Union High School District Governing Board.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Need a roll call for this? Yes. Roll call.
Mrs. Brizuela,
Aye.
Miss Leah Inga Anawai,
Aye.
Dr. Douglas,
Aye.
Mr. Ali.
Aye. Approved, unanimous.
And I will say that he brought his son when we were, any of you remember when we were doing the tiles, painting tiles to put over on the wall down in Westlake? He brought his son to do it. Do one too, yeah. So, So he's got a little tile out there.
She's off easy tonight.
Yeah, so I believe now we go down to 11E.
11E,
Is that
that's
correct?
what I see next.
Okay.
And he belongs to the same church my family belongs to. That's a plus.
11E, Administrative Appointment, 2015-2016. The administration recommends approval of the following administrative appointment. Peter Clifford, Dean of Academic Support, Ben Franklin School, effective September 21st, 2015. 1 MWMA, Step 1, $92,952 plus MA prorated to start date.
So, Mr. Clifford unfortunately was not able to make it this evening, but upon Mr. West's moving from Ben Franklin as dean to Fernando Rivera as vice principal, that position became open, and actually Mr. Clifford was one of our candidates for the vice principal position, and we're really happy to have him interested in this position. So he's been in the position since, I believe, the 21st, and he's doing very well. So I will make a future appointment to have you meet him here at the board.
Sounds great.
And I move that we approve the administrative appointment of Peter Clifford as Dean of Academic Support, Ben Franklin School, as listed.
I'll second that motion.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, pass.
Congratulations, Mr. Clifford.
Congratulations. Moving fast this evening.
12C.
12C, salary recommendation, classified position of information systems specialist. The administration recommends approval of the annual salary schedule for information systems specialist at $32.15 an hour, $32.15 an hour, step 1, through $38.32 an hour, step 5. The Personnel Commission approved the proposed salary at its September 4th, 2015 meeting. The governing board approved the job description at its August 26, 2015 meeting. Information System Specialist. So we don't have anyone in this position yet?
No, we do
No.
not.
All right.
So you have to advertise it.
So we so we presented some comparative salaries to the 7 local districts that we usually do when it comes to a situation like this. And they ranged from a low of $28.37 to, from step 1 to a high of $39 an hour on step 1. So we looked at averages and means, and the Personnel Commission's recommendation was that we approve the median salary, which is the one that was presented to you. So what I want to give to you, just for information purposes, again, the steps, and then on the back, how it fits onto the overall classification salary list. So they're.
So this is working in the district office, right?
This will be working in the district office, yeah. This position is to support and manage and maintain the infrastructure that's been going in with the
s'mores.
different technology upgrades.
Okay.
So it's a full-time job, right?
Full-time position,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, well, let's see.
So right now, we have those other 2 positions filled.
The other positions that we have filled are we have the coach positions. Those are the technology positions are already filled down there, yeah. This is just a new position that we created to support some of the infrastructure that's at the district office, because we do have a good amount of support for the sites at this point.
All right.
Well, I think that's the area we need to, remember we talked about, we needed to really kind of push that up a little, so
Right.
I think it's time that we do this.
Have to have that support.
So, anybody, I'll make a motion if we,
Go for it.
everybody okay, no questions? No? Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the salary for a classified position of information systems specialist, starting at $32.15 an hour, step 1, through $38.32, step 5, Amen.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, pass.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All the way to board member comments and reports and reflection on board meeting guidelines.
I don't have any, oh, actually, I do have a report, and I almost forgot, and now I don't remember the details. I did meet with Ms. McCulick to talk about the results of the Smarter Balance testing, and I don't remember as much as I meant to, and I left my notes at home because that was so long ago. When we have 3 weeks between meetings, some of us have trouble remembering things. But what we were looking at was a couple of things. One was just how much we could break out information for, getting more ideas about where and exactly where we have issues or real strengths. But the other thing, of course, that we were looking at was recognizing that the test, in addition to, of course, not getting us the results until the following school year, as we know about the standardized test, it doesn't tell us exactly what we need to know, and that the assessments that really matter, that really help our students, are those that the teachers are doing constantly in class every day, because that's when they can actually find out, not just that, well, this kid has a problem somewhere in the realm of reading comprehension, but we worked on this nonfiction text and, Tommy didn't get it, or he did, and let's move on. So, in the end, what we see is that the test gave us a nice snapshot of where we are. Next year, we may be able to have a little snapshot of whether we're making progress in a general sense, but when it comes down to what we're doing for our students, as we all knew, it's the teachers in the classroom who are figuring out exactly what each of our kids needs. So,
Thanks.
that'll be my report. And that would go right with, I was looking at this, knowing I came into this meeting very tired about bringing our best selves to the meetings and being fully present, and there we are. I'm still working on that one, apparently. I would say the rest of the board was doing very well, though.
I actually picked that one too. Because I'm actually pretty exhausted, in all honesty, my physical being, but I took a deep breath and walked in, and I think that's to say that I know that our teachers do that too, We wake up in the morning and sometimes you're like, let me pull it together, and we just got to do the do. And so that's why I picked that one, and because I also believe in this work, so the energy is always easily found. And I do want to say thank you too to Elaine Francisco and Melinda for inviting me to be a part of tomorrow's Embracing Cultural Diversity at Westlake. I'm really looking forward to being a part of that panel, so thank you.
And I would love to go to that, but I have to go to a meeting where I have to take the notes, and they don't really
have a busy
like it when I don't go, But anyway, if I can swing by just for a couple of minutes, I will. But I also wanted just to say, thank you to everybody, what you're doing. I know the teachers are working hard. I'm hearing really good things from people, parents and stuff, that they're feeling more engaged about everything than they ever have. And that's mainly because, Melinda, you guys are working really hard to bring us all together. Because I think many times in the past, not that the teachers weren't trying, but they were in the classroom doing their job. And there was always PTA doing their job. And then, we're trying to do our job. And everyone's doing what they can do. But today, now that we can get everyone together, I think it's going to be so much better. And I think we grow from each other. We learn what is the needs from the family, what is the needs for the teachers need to be able to be as successful as we all want them to be. And I think now with all of the coaches and all the stuff that we're doing, and we're doing a lot of little extra hiring on some of these folks that are making sure that everything is getting done, I think it's going to make a big difference. And we may not see it, like they say, this year, but we know our children are learning. That's the big thing. And I'll tell you, some people are just not test takers. And for some reason, sometimes I am. And sometimes my boss, when I worked in what we called personnel, now we call it HR, but he would give me the test and see if I could pass it. I could pass a maintenance test, I could pass anything. And he'd say, I said, I don't know, I guess the right answer, you know? But the thing is, tests don't really measure everything you can really do or you're learning. If you get up in the morning and not feeling good, or you're scared to death of a test, and some kids get very nervous, they're not going to do as well. So hang in there, everybody, and don't everybody think that we're not doing good, because I think we are. I know if I visit a classroom, I know they're doing good. So let's just keep a really good perspective that we're doing the best we're doing to make this work. So, do I get to say this?
Yeah.
Do I do this at the same time? Then we'll have to go back again. Well, I picked, shame on me, I picked we will keep our remarks brief and to the point so that all opinions can be expressed. But since you didn't really have to express your opinions on Garden Village, I took your time. Always room for improvement.
I'm sorry, President Ali. I just wanted to commend Sharon and the PTA at MP Brown, because I'm very fortunate to pass by every morning to see them in action, and they're doing an amazing job. I remember a few years back, one of our students was hit by a car, and everyone was in panic mode, and I have volunteered on that crosswalk, and I tell you, it's pretty intimidating. They don't stop, you know, even at the stop sign. So they're doing an amazing job there, and I don't know how it looks at every other school. I know Tobias does a great job too with the stand. The traffic is crazy, but I really wanted to mention that. And the reason why I did want to bring that up too is because the PTA there has really grown since I've been a parent there a few years back. And I really want to commend Diane Licata for that too, because I saw her leadership there. And I think it's great that she's expanded her wisdom and her talents to a new school. And I really want to commend her. I did see her at another meeting. She's not here this evening. But she's left MP Brown, but her leadership and the spirit that she literally left there at MP Brown is still alive and well. And it's great to see that. And I'm sure that's what's happening at all our schools. So I wanted to mention that.
Thanks. Well, I focused on we will listen actively to all ideas. We will listen openly without preparing responses. And I think I did a good job of listening tonight. But no, obviously I agree with almost everything that was said this evening, and I'm just happy to hear the progress that we're making towards the goals that we set out to accomplish, and just commend everyone for being here and all the great work that everyone is doing. It's getting hot in here. So at this time, we have no speaker cards to address the board on closed session items still, all right. And we will take a short recess and a moment of silence for all right, for Harvey Robb, husband of Janet Harrison, teacher at Franklin D. Roosevelt Elementary School, and also Robert Kessler, father of Julie Kessler, assistant superintendent of business services. All right, thanks. 5-minute recess, and then we'll convene to closed
Can
session.
I copy this so I can make sure I